12th of August 2009, Nilla and her family celebrated the birth of their third child, Victor. Soon after the birth, doctors confirmed that Victor was diagnosed with Down syndrome.
Here we know that every child has the same equality and status in education and in learning and plays, whereas over there the child will be left alone and not being looked after or staying at home throughout their teenage and not going out into public. So that's something we also educate the families that everything's changed in the new country and she doesn't have to worry about any of these look down on the disability child.
VICSEG, the Victorian Cooperative on Children's Services for Ethnic Groups, has assisted migrant and refugee families to understand and access children's services for over 30 years. The Refugee Family Resource and Mentoring Program is the most recent means by which VICSEG provides assistance to migrant and refugee families.
Well, working with Juan as a mentor, she was able to put into context the cultural background of the family we're working with, and also just the understanding of the condition that this little baby had, and the fact that in that culture, that condition wasn't as recognised as it is in our Anglo culture. So that was particularly helpful at the home visit.
We encourage the mothers to be able to go out in public and just do everything what the parents would normally do here.
The family mentors in the program share the languages and the cultural backgrounds, as well as the refugee experiences of the families with whom they work. The mentors are uniquely placed to provide information and advice about Australian approaches to child development, as well as the many maternal and children's services available to parents, while appreciating the family's culture, traditions and beliefs. The mentors work closely with each family, enabling them to understand and value the supports and services that are available, whilst building their confidence to access these. The mentors also work closely with service providers, helping them to understand the needs of particular families, as well as enhancing their cultural competence.
I supported the maternal and child health outreach nurse by interpreting, as well as giving the cultural practices after birth, and also the knowledge of disability children in our country, how people look at the family. So before we're able to support the family, and ask them questions and their experiences, we tell the story of how would this will be done back in the village.
Juan was there to facilitate interpreting everything that we were discussing, both myself asking the questions to the parent and the parents being able to relay their fears and worries to us.
What are you making?
Flower.
The Refugee Family Resource and Mentoring Program has concentrated on some of the most recently settled groups: Assyrian Chaldean families from Iraq in the city of Hume, South Sudanese families in Brimbank, and Karen Burmese families in Wyndham.
Cool. Maybe I think
we do one more time.
Yes.
Because my daughter blog daughter we may do now. That's you?
Not left. All right, here And 1, 2, 3, more. Welcome, welcome everyone. Now it's time to have some fun. Songs to sing and games to play. We'll all have a happy day. Welcome, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you could come.
At the playgroup, first I engage the families with the child rearing practices in Australia, helping the mothers or the parents to understand about their child development and learning through plays.
Through the program, parents and children have had a direct experience of the services, facilities and resources available to them in their local communities. Resources and services such as social services, maternal and child health, or specialist services such as physiotherapy.
We have a lot of activities that I provide how to nurture the age appropriate. We put Legos and building equipment like a development toys for the kindergarten age, 3 to 4 years old. And we also have a floor toys like shapes and blocks building, different activities that we change every week for the children under 3 and newborn babies.
With the assistance of the preschool field officer, the parents are also introduced to the importance in the Australian educational system of kindergarten and preschool. Families with more complex needs have received the more sustained mentoring support that is required to access specialist children's services.
In our playgroup, we don't use only English literacy. We're trying to be a bilingual playgroup. So we teach the songs in Korean, numbers in Korean. We teach our children the alphabets. We come together and we translated the songs from English so that they can be both fluent in both languages when they go to kindergarten. And supporting the families with that, we translated the books, we translated the songs, so the parents can actually repeat the English song after me.
Like back home, children go to school when they are 6. But here, when they start going to kindergarten at 3 or 4, it's a challenge to them. They will say, oh, this child is still a baby, they can't go to school. So here, they have to be informed. You know, the children can start from 3.
With Juan, she's been able to interact with our enrolment officer to actually be able to communicate with families about the process of enrolling in kinder. Therefore, if we didn't have that transfer of language between the enrolment officer and the families, they wouldn't actually be able to understand the process that's involved of actually filling out forms, paying money if that's the case, or healthcare cards. So she's been able to be the, I suppose, joint person in the middle that's been able to facilitate that and actually get Korean kindergarten children enrolled, which if she wasn't there, I think that they wouldn't actually be enrolled in kindergarten. So she's made it a lot easier process for families, and also she's helped us here at Wyndham in order to enrol those families.
Well, I think one of the most significant impacts is the ability for the Children's Services area to now have put up a fairly good, strong case to council in relation to putting on bilingual workers.
So again, Juan's been able to interact with our preschool field officers and the families where they have children with additional needs, and being able to communicate maybe what some of the issues are, what the processes are in terms of funding and support that they can get. Therefore, their experience of kinder is improved, because not only do they have the trust in Juan, knowing her and being able to communicate with her, they understand the process of what the preschool field officer is. So across the board, she's been invaluable, and it's basically made the Korean population in Wyndham able to attend kindergarten.
We've had that aim for quite some time, but it's only recently, since we've seen the many positive outcomes from the programs that Juan has been involved in, that we've now had very good solid evidence that we can present along with our submission, and as a result, in last year's Capital Works program, Council approved a full-time position, which we're going to split into two, one Karen-speaking worker and one Sudanese-speaking worker.